Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Feoluwa, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to cut this underbust corset with yoke and a basque waistline. So if you are seeing this video, please do not forget to subscribe and leave a comment, and also give this video a thumbs up. Thank you very much. So I have my measurements, my underbust, my bust measurements, my waist measurements, armhole, across back, the bust point, the front waistline, and the back waistline. So let's get into the drafting. So I'm going to measure out my chest line, which is my armhole divided by 2. That's 14 divided by 2, which is 7 inches. Then I'm going to mark my bust point 9.5 inches, my underbust 13.5, and then my front waistline, which is 17. You notice that the front waistline and the back waistline are different. That's because the chest, for the front waistline, the chest is not flat. It's not as flat as the back, so it varies for a lot of people. Now this is my chest line, my bust point, my underbust, and then my waistline. So I'm going to work on my armhole now. I'm going to draft the armhole now. So the armhole is 14 divided by 2, which is 7. You're going to mark 7 there, and then you also mark 7 on the chest line, and then you connect them together. So after connecting them together, on the shoulder line, that is the top of the paper, you're going to come down by 1 inch, and then the remaining one you're going to divide by 2. I have 3, and then you're going to come in by 0.75. On the chest line, you divide your bust measurement by 4, and then you mark it. So I have 34 divided by 4, which is 8.5. So I'm going to connect those points together with my French curve. So the next thing I'll do is to measure out the neck line. So I'm going to be using 4 inches for the neck width, and then 3.5 inches for the neck depth. So I'm going to use my French curve to also connect those points together. Then on the shoulder, I'll use my ruler to connect the shoulder slants like that. The next thing I'm going to do is to measure out my nipple to nipple, which is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5. You can also use your measurements to calculate it. Your bust measurements divided by 4 minus 1.5, and then divided by 2 to get your nipple to nipple measurements. Now I'm going to label this side as the center front and the other side as the side front. Now towards the center front, you're going to come in by 0.5, and towards the side front you come in by 1.5 inches. So you do the same thing for the under bust, and then you connect them together. Now after connecting them together, you're going to use your French curve to also connect from the bust point to the under bust. So you watch the way I'm connecting with my French curve. You connect it on the center front area, and then you also move on to the side front area, and you connect from the bust point to the under bust. The next thing we'll be doing is to determine where you want your yoke to stop, how deep you want the yoke to be. So for me, I'm just going to maintain the chest line area, which is 7 inches. Then on the armhole, I'm going to come down by 5 inches like that, and then from there I'm going to connect those points together. I'm going to use my French curve. We are working with a sweetheart type of neckline, so you're going to use your French curve like that and connect to the chest line or wherever you want the yoke to stop. So the next thing we are going to do is to draw out a line from the bust point to the shoulder slant. So you're going to divide the shoulder slant by 2. Whatever you have, you're going to connect it to the bust point using a straight line. Now what we are going to do next, to give the clothes more fitting and to prevent gaping, we are going to take in inches from that line. We are going to take in 0.5 inches towards the center front, and then we are going to take in 1 inch towards the side front. So altogether we have 1.5 inches. Now you're going to connect those points back to the bust point with your ruler. Now after connecting, we are going to extend that line. We are going to extend it so that we can replace that 1.5 that we've taken away from the bodice. You're going to replace it towards the armhole area, and then you connect it back to the chest line. But before doing that, we're also going to replace what we have on that chest line. We're going to replace it. I have about 1 inch. I have about 1 inch there, so I'm going to replace it back to the bust measurements. Now on the waistline too, we are going to divide the waist by 4. I have 6.25, and then I'm also going to measure out what I have there and replace it back to the waist measurements, and then you connect together. You also connect your armhole back together. So this is going to be our new armhole for that part. So I'm just blending. I'm going to blend that into the armhole. Now on this curve, on this part too, I'm going to blend the curve because it's looking too sharp. So I'm going to blend it like that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, because of the front difference in the front and the back waist measurements, I have 3 as a difference. We are going to take that 3 inches at the side fronts on the bust points. So you're going to take the 3 inches. This varies for a lot of people. Some people might have 2 inches difference, some people might have 1, and some people might not have any difference at all. So you just make sure you take the accurate measurements for this part. So these are the parts that we're not going to need anymore. After this, we're going to proceed to cutting the paper. So I have, just watch the way I'm cutting the paper. This is the yoke for the front. Now on this part, when you fold this, you'll see that the paper, the neckline is not equal. You see that it is not equal. That's because of the sweetheart neck that we took. If it were to be a straight neckline, you will notice that it will be more equal than this. So for this, you just have to join a paper to it, and then you replace whatever is lost back to the paper like that. So you fold it back, and then you use your French curve to redraw a new neckline. So just connect it back, and then you can proceed to continue your cutting. If you are still watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do well to subscribe, leave a comment, and also give this video a thumbs up. Thank you. Now to cover up that part, this excess that we have, you're just going to cut out towards this point. And when you are cutting, you're not going to completely cut it out, so you just stop a little bit before the point, and then you cover it up with your masking tape. After covering it up, you're going to draw out a new line. You're going to replace what is lost in that part, and then you can proceed to cut out the rest. And since this is an underbust corset, we're going to cut out the underbusts like that, and then you're going to join that part that we cut out. You're going to join them together like that. You find an extra paper that you have and you tape them together so that we can get our basque waistline. So you tape together like that with your masking tape. Then you determine how long you want the basque to be. So you can either make it 5 or you can make it 4. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be making use of 4 inches. Now from that side, I'm just going to connect it back to the 4 inches. So you connect like that, and then you cut it out. So this is all for the front bodice, for the front pattern. So you've gotten everything for the front pattern like that. So you can just proceed to cut on your fabric. Now for the back, I'm trying to draw out my zip allowance. I used 1 inch for my zip allowance. Then from the shoulder line, I'm going to draw out my chest line, which is my armhole divided by 2, and then my back waistline, which is 14 inches. So I'm going to connect them together. The next thing I'm going to do is to create my armhole. I'm using 7 inches, the same way I did the front, 7 inches, and then I'm going to join them together. On the shoulder line, I'll be coming down by 1 inch, the same way I did for the front, and then whatever I have left, I'm going to divide by 2 and mark it. I'll be coming in by 0.5 inch, unlike the front, which is 0.75. So my bust measurement divided by 4, and then I'm going to join everything together like that. The next thing I'm going to do is to measure out the neckline. I used 4 inches for the width, the same way I used for the front, and then 1 inch for the depth, which is different from what I used for the front. So I'm just going to connect that like that, and then I'm going to draw out my shoulder slants. On my zip allowance part, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. Then from that point, I'm going to measure out my waist measurement plus 1 inch for that. Then I'm going to connect that together. The reason why I came in by 1 inch on the zip line is because the back is not straight, it's a little bit curved. So to give the back more fitting, that is the reason why I went in by 1 inch. So this is going to be the new zip allowance. Now from the original point, I'm going to mark out the dots, which is the nipple to nipple, then taking 0.5 on each side. On the chest line, I'm also going to mark out the dot, which is 3.5, and then I'm going to connect that together. Now this can be the end of the back, but if you also want to create a yoke for the back, you can do that too. Then you come down on the armhole, the same measurements used at the front. Then on the neckline, you can use any measurements of your choice. So you connect those two together. That's if you want a yoke for the back also, but you can also leave it like this in case you don't want a yoke for the back. So that is the back yoke, and that is the zip, our new zip allowance. So if you are satisfied with all you have, you can then proceed to cut out. Now make sure that you remeasure everything that you have on your paper so that there won't be any mistake when you are cutting on fabric. So this is the end of the bodice pattern for the underbust corset with yoke and a basque waistline. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.